The call came on a quiet Tuesday evening, one of those nights where the house feels too large, too hollow, even with two people breathing inside it. My phone buzzed once. His name lit up the screen. My son. Or the boy I thought was mine. He didn't say hello, just breathed, sharp and shaky. "Dad, Harvard says the $250,000 payment is overdue. Did you forget?" For a moment, I heard the faint echo behind him. Laughter, chatter, the muffled roar of a celebration I wasn't invited to. His graduation after-party had been a week earlier. I remembered the way he'd stood on stage, in his cap and gown, scanning the crowd until he found the man he wanted to thank. Not me. Her work husband. The one she swore was just a friend. The one who always found a reason to be around. The one who hugged my son a little too comfortably. The one my wife looked at with a softness I'd never seen directed at me. And then the joke. Shout out to Mom's work husband and the guy who just paid the bills. Laughter. Even from her. I didn't react then. I don't react much anymore. So when he called, asking about the payment, asking why I hadn't wired the money that would shape his future, I simply stared at the wall, feeling the weight of 16 years settle into my bones. "No," I said. I didn't forget. I hung up before he replied, and in the silence that followed, something inside me finally clicked into place. The signs had always been there, small, unassuming, easy to excuse if you're a man who wants to believe his life still belongs to him. Late-night messages that she'd tilt away from me, quick, defensive smiles, inside jokes I wasn't part of, a shift in the boy's eyes, respect thinning into something sharper. Distance grows slowly. Then, suddenly, it's a cliff. For years I paid the bills, school trips, tutors, medical expenses, private school. All without hesitation, because that's what fathers do, right? They invest, they pour, they give. I never asked for gratitude, but I didn't expect indifference. And yet, I kept going, because I thought I had a family, a unit worth carrying. The graduation was the first crack I couldn't tape over. When he thanked the other man first, looked at him with a kind of reverence he'd never once given me, something cold slid down my spine. My wife clapped too quickly, smiled too brightly, and leaned toward him as though sharing a secret. I watched, quiet, expressionless, feeling the room tilt. I didn't confront her afterward, didn't accuse, didn't break. I've learned that silence hurts more. And beneath that silence, suspicion grew teeth. Whose child was he, really? Whose life had I been financing? I didn't ask her. I asked the truth. DNA tests are easier to arrange than people think. A stray toothbrush, a few hairs from a graduation cap, a quiet delivery to a lab that doesn't care about family narratives, only sequences and numbers. While I waited for the results, I studied them both. My wife moved around the house lighter than usual, as if relieved, as if something heavy had finally shifted from her shoulders onto mine. And the boy? He barely looked at me now. He was busy, packing for Harvard, taking calls from Uncle Michael, the man my wife used to work with. Their conversations were too casual, too familiar. I checked phone records. 16 years of shared bills made that easy. Late-night calls between them, precise timing, patterns. She had a double life. Not dramatic, not explosive, just consistent, steady, like erosion. I didn't rage, didn't question. I observed. The truth is patient, and I've learned to be too. At night I lay awake beside her, listening to her breathe. Steady, oblivious, certain she'd gotten away with everything. I waited. The storm was quiet, yes, but it was coming. The results arrived on a Thursday morning, a neat envelope, a quiet truth. 0% probability of paternity. 16 years, 0%. I sat at the kitchen table and traced the numbers with my thumb. There was no anger, just confirmation. Facts don't scream, they whisper. She walked in minutes later, sipping the coffee I brewed every morning. She smiled, habitually, carelessly, before noticing the envelope. "What's that?" I slid it toward her. Nothing more. She opened it, read, went pale. Her hand trembled before her voice did. I can explain. I know. 2 words. Soft, controlled, surgical. She broke. Tears, stammers, excuses collapsing under their own weight. I watched her unravel, like fabric pulled from a single, loose thread. There's a strange power in being quiet during someone else's panic. She begged. She reached for my arm. I didn't move. The truth had already settled. I didn't yell, didn't accuse, didn't ask her why she wasted my life. Instead, I executed one simple move. I stopped paying. For him, for her, for Harvard, for the comfortable life built on my blind loyalty. That night, while she was still shaking, still apologizing, still trying to anchor herself to a future, I no longer belonged to, I said the only sentence that mattered. "You built this life with another man. Let him pay for it." Her face crumpled. The boy called later, desperate, angry, confused. "Dad, what happened? Harvard needs the payment." I let the silence stretch until it became a blade. Then I answered, "No." I didn't forget. I finally remembered. I hung up. His voice broke on the other end. I heard it. I let it happen. Truth has a cost. I simply stopped being the one who paid it. I moved out quietly. No ceremony, no explanation, no rage. Just a man reclaiming space that was always his. People think betrayal is loud, shouting, plates breaking, doors slammed off hinges. They're wrong. Real betrayal is quiet. It's a steady drip that rots the foundation until one day the whole structure collapses from the inside. And real vindication is stepping over the ruins without looking back. I left them with the truth they created, the life they built, the bills they now had to face. I feel no guilt, no sorrow, just clarity. 16 years taught me one thing: blood doesn't make you a father, but betrayal sure as hell makes you leave. And as I closed the door behind me, light, effortless, final, I felt something I hadn't in years: freedom. A quiet, brutal kind. The kind that whispers, "You owed them nothing."